Hello. Hi. How's it going, everybody? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? Everybody doing okay? Anyway, part two of watercoloring today. Part two of doing these other two sketches. This is the first one here. It's pretty monochromatic. So it might be a little challenging just because of the grayness of the scene. So gonna try to do it. How's everybody doing today? This evening? I guess I'll get right into it. So I think what I'm gonna start this by mixing up. Actually, I need to wet all my colors. I should have been doing that. Forgot about that. So just adding some water here to a lot of my colors that I'm going to need eventually. Hello everyone. How's everybody doing this evening? Friday, finally. Although for some people it doesn't really matter. Most people don't even know the day of the week anymore. But it matters to me, that's for sure. All right. So we got some of the paint here getting wet. I'm gonna mix up some kind of ochre gray, it seems. Let's try to clean this real quick. Hello, how's everybody doing? Any advice for a beginner starting watercolor painting tomorrow? Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's pretty much, obviously, I'd watch some videos if you can, and just try to understand the process. Try to do it in 3 to 4 layers if you can. Just do your best, that's start light and go dark. Try to plan it out before you begin. Mentally figure out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, stuff like that. Thank you guys. Glad somebody says always love seeing you doing your arts. Definitely appreciate it. In Egypt now, good night. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Hope all is well where everyone is around the world. All right, so I'm gonna get started here. So I'm gonna start off with just a wash of this color. I guess I could zoom this in a bit. We don't really need to see my palette for the most part. Gonna move the camera. There we go. So let's try to do this. So it's pretty monotone, monochromatic, the whole thing here. Actually, the light areas look a bit warmer, so I'm gonna have to actually mix up a slightly warmer color for the light areas. Didn't really notice that until now, but that's okay. So I probably should have done that first. It just seems a little more brighter yellow or something, just slightly. See if I can get that in there. Yeah, no problem, Kevin. I hope it was helpful. I mean, it's basically, you know, it's when you just start out, things are really, it's going to be tough, you know, like basically don't, I mean, I don't want to say this, but basically don't expect a good painting. You know what I mean? For your first watercolor painting, you might get a good one. I'm not saying you won't, and I'm not saying you might be happy with it, but just be prepared that just be prepared for things to go wrong. That's for sure. But like I said, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Like you may get a really good painting, but you may also get a very bad painting as well. So just keep that in mind. Try not to get discouraged, and yeah, just do your best with it, because it's going to be difficult. It's definitely going to be difficult. So the sky here is very gray as well, actually. If you guys, let me, I'm going to blow up this photo just real quick so you guys can see. The sky has a little bit more blue to it, but it's still just super gray. And it may be the actual photograph of this. It may not even be an accurate photograph taken of this painting, but I'm going to paint it as I'm seeing it, so we're just going to roll with it as it is, of course. Okay, cool. So I gotta be careful here because I don't want any of this to bleed into the light areas. So just being very careful here. Not really doing a proper watercolor method with this, to be honest, but it's okay. I did it, we got it. Prepare for tears when no one's looking. Yeah. I think my drawing's off a little bit here too. Perspective's a little funny looking, but it's alright. We're just not too worried about that. I'm just worried about color and value and stuff. This is still pretty wet. But let's see, there are some darker areas, so I'm gonna start putting some of those in. We'll just let it bleed a little bit. It's okay. Not a big deal. So for this color, what I did, it's yellow ochre with ivory black. Just some kind of grayed down color. So there's some darker shadows and stuff, so we'll just try to put some of these in. Try not to waste a whole lot of time here waiting for things to dry. Just try to get right into it. You know, these are just little sketches anyway. It's not a big deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. There's a little bit of blue actually right down here at the bottom of this building. So just cooling it off a bit there. And there's actually like blue doors over here too, so we'll just put some of that in there. Yeah, I got you, Brent. I knew what you meant. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, this one's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward, so not too worried here about much with this one. The reason I chose this one because it's so monochromatic, and there are some like subtleties and stuff, so it's a lot more wet into wet type of painting for me, so it's a little bit different. You know, it's just it contrasts against these other colorful ones I did the other day, so just trying to switch it up, do something different. Let's see. There's some something in the distance back here. Put that in. There are some really dark details and stuff, so we'll get those in a minute. Probably one or two more layers, I think, and then we'll be dark enough. You know, there's some really darks in some of this. Yeah, my drawing is not perfect. It's just trying to get the idea of what's happening here. That's all really. That's all I'm really worried about. Do you like painting or drawing more? I definitely like painting more, I think. I like painting outside on location, plein air and stuff like that. That's probably my favorite thing to do. But I am starting to like drawing a little bit more now that I'm doing these live streams. You know, it's still fun to do. Drawing's still fun. I'm more drawn to painting because I like being able to just put color down pretty quickly and just have some fun. And did you wet paper before starting? No, I did not. I just did some big washes, and then I just did some other washes while it was still all wet. So I gave it the illusion like I wetted the paper. But no, I didn't. Didn't technically do wet into wet, but I kind of did. So take that, everyone that says I should do wet into wet. I get that comment all the time. You should do wet into wet. I'll do it when I feel like doing it. Or I'll just make it look like I did it, and I didn't really do it. Thanks, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Now you're not too late. I just started like 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago. Alright, so now I kind of have to wait, it seems, for some stuff to dry here. Can't really do too much, unfortunately. I hate waiting for things to dry. Because that's boring. Just need to get this area more drawn in more, and then it's pretty much there. We're pretty good. Like I said, my drawing's pretty off on this one, but it's not the focus of these little sketches. I'm not worried about, perspective of things. The tops of these, it's just way off. But it's not my focus. Still wet. I'm so impatient. I'm too impatient for this stuff. I think actually part of the road needs to be darkened slightly. This whole thing. Bring it together a bit more. There we go. Yep, there we go. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I don't know if this is much of a a good process to follow for watercolors. This is a very bizarre, weird process. Have you ever done a 3-point perspective drawing? Yes, I have. It's been a long time, but yeah, I have not done that in a long time, but those are pretty fun to do. Not a fan of the hairdryer method. It's not really that. It's that I don't own a hairdryer. So yeah, I guess I'm not really a fan of the hairdryer method. I don't own one, so I can't be a fan, really. Yeah, I think once we put the darks in here, boom, we'll be good. And then we go to the next one. The next one's really challenging, guys. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to try. We're going to try, that's for sure. All right, we're getting dry here. We're getting dry. So I think we're good. Pretty good. Let's go for it. Yeah, I'd probably have to mute the mic if I had a hairdryer. I'd definitely mute the mic while I was doing it. But yeah, don't have one of those fancy things, but that's okay. I don't need a lot of stuff. What are you going to do a video on next? Well, let me finish this video first before I even think about that. I don't know. The next one's going to be pen and ink. I kind of alternate. I do watercolor one day and then I do pen and ink the next day. So if that's what you're talking about, but I'm not sure what I'm going to draw with the pen and ink. Some kind of animal or something maybe, I don't know. I got a lot of suggestions yesterday from people in the chat, so I got a lot of ideas. So just, I usually decide like the day of. I don't really figure it out till the day I'm actually doing it, so it's usually how it goes. So this is really dark. It's a little darker than it should be. So I'm gonna have to lift up some of it. I kind of do this a lot usually. You know, I put it down pretty strongly and then I go back and soften it a bit, and I'm just able to get a little more subtlety this way by doing it this way. I don't know, it's just how I do it sometimes. Okay. Is sketching good practice to get better? I mean, yeah, anytime you draw or paint or do anything, I mean, you're going to get better, hopefully. Just do anything. Whatever you want to get better at, do more of that. It's that simple, really. Yeah, don't have to complicate it. It's just that simple. All right, well, I think I'm pretty happy with this one for the most part. It's not perfect, of course, but it's all right. It's not meant to be perfect or anything. There's actually some dark spots right here. Not sure why, but yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. It's cool. It's a cool little study. Nice little effect we got. I think. Can't complain too much. One thing I'm missing is kind of this. I want this cool wash over here. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but I'm trying to. Let's see. Oh well. Yeah, I'm missing this doorway right there. This second doorway kind of melted right there. Yeah, I have one of the main roads is right out my window, down the hill a bit, so you get a lot of annoying cars sometimes. Do you use watercolor pencils much? I never use watercolor pencils. I don't think I ever have. I don't really like colored pencils or any kind of pencils like that, so that's why I don't use them. Yeah, there's a road outside, so. Yep, okay, anyway. Do you have any tips for blending with pencils, colored pencils? I don't really have tips for colored pencils, to be honest. I don't really use them, but yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Don't really have much knowledge there. As far as blending with pencil and stuff, I mean, you can use a blending step if you want, or if you just take your time and shade. I've shown these the last two streams, so I might as well show them one more time. It's possible to shade like this without smearing or smudging. This is just a very sharp pencil and a lot of time, and you can get some very smooth transitions and stuff. And same with this one here. Just using different kinds of pencils. I had like an HB pencil and a 3B, I think, or something. And you just take your time and you vary the pressure that you use on your pencils. And yeah, you don't need to like smear or smudge or whatever. It just takes a little bit more time. And practice, of course. But anyway, Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with this one. I'm going to go to this next one now, but I might come back and refine this doorway, and we'll see if there's anything else I need to like fix with it or refine it. But I think that's pretty much, I'm pretty happy with that one for the most part. I think real quickly here, we're going to add a little bit of darkness to this shadow here. But yeah, it came out pretty cool. It's really subtle light effect and stuff. It's kind of nice. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with, I like how that one came out. It's an interesting color harmony. When you make everything gray and you have these little bit of color notes there, it's pretty cool. So it's easy to get the idea of something really simply very quickly. So let's try this other one now. Got to move my camera here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's update this photo. 1 second, folks. Gonna add the other photo of this next one. It's pretty challenging. And here we go. So this is the next one I'm gonna try to do. So it's kind of this river scene. I'm gonna have to really simplify. But I like the colors. I liked a lot of the color harmony, the color scheme. So we're gonna try to fit all this in here in some way, shape or form. So we'll see what happens. Let's do it. See if I can do this. I'll try to keep this a little bit larger, maybe. And then we'll lighten this up a bit for now. Okay. And 1 second, I just have to open up the other photo so that I can see it myself. All right. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I think it's coming out pretty well. So how do you decide which color to start with, like the base color? Well, it's tricky, you know. You look at the lightest color for the most part, and you go with that, basically. So for this painting, start off with these yellowy greens and then this turquoise color for the rocks, or the water, and you know, some kind of gray for this rock up here. So yeah, just all the light colors. There's not necessarily one base color. You kind of vary it a bit. Is it better to draw with a ruler or freehand? Well, I mean, there's some things you can't draw with a ruler. You know, if you're drawing a hand or arms or some kind of organic form, you can't draw with a ruler. So, hello, is there a difference between watercolor in tubes and watercolor pans? You know, I don't know. I don't think so. I think the pans are pretty much the same thing. I might be wrong on that, but I know that I get mine from the tube and then I just squeeze it into pans. So, yeah, this is a lot. This is kind of the grand finale here. So hopefully I can pull this off. There's a lot of color. So let's get into it. Let's do it. Try to figure something out here. Try to get this going. So it looks like Viridian green for the grass. A little bit and transparent red oxide. Looks like that's the mixture mainly for this grass. Maybe a touch of yellow, slightly. So we're just going with it. Yeah, maybe a touch of yellow in there just to warm it up. And also transparent red oxide. A lot of water here or a little bit of water. Because we want this to stay light, kind of light. I'm going to do a wash. I'm going to add kind kind of some straight yellow into this in certain places, just to give the illusion of some warmth. There we go. That's the color I'm looking for. You know, I'm not going exactly with what the painting is. I mean, I'm just using it loosely as a reference, so it's not going to all be exactly the same, perfect or anything. But I'm just trying to get the color scheme down, mostly. I'm trying to go with what he has here, for the most part. And then it gets a little bit bluer back here. Okay, or a lot of bit bluer. In the distance, got some cooler blues and stuff. So normally, like, traditional way of watercolors is like you kind of do a wash of the whole paper, you know. And for me, I kind of go intuitively when I paint. And something like this, the reason I'm not doing a wash with the whole paper is because I don't want to have to sit here and wait, and I don't want you guys to have to wait. So I'm kind of just doing it in small sections, so that hopefully by the time I finish, you know, this foreground, I'll move on to the water. And then by the time I'm done with the water, the foreground will be dry. I can do another layer, etc., stuff like that. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, I don't know if you really want to copy this method for paintings that you do, but it's something to play around with. You know, I paint like this in plein air sometimes because the light changes so quickly that I don't have time to do big washes and wait for things to dry. So I kind of just go intuitively, of course. Try to, anyway. So now I'm going to make some kind of gray turquoise-y color for the water. See if we can get this pretty close. Something like that, maybe. Looks pretty nice. And around the edges of the water, there is some more of that transparent red oxide, which is kind of this brown, beautiful brown color. So I'm going to add that here in just a second, kind of let it bleed into the water a little bit. It's actually kind of grayed down, so I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to it, just to gray it off slightly, but so hopefully we're already getting kind of a sense of the color scheme here, slightly. The water does get darker in some areas around the edges, so I could do that right now, or I could wait. I'm going to try to do it now. We'll see. Let's just go for it. Added a little too much water there. So we'll just slightly darken some of these areas. What do you say to someone just starting out with art and who has a hard time staying motivated due to things not looking okay right away? Stop having those expectations. You know, you got to, yeah, don't have those expectations, I guess. Try to, let me think about that. You know, the funny thing about art is most of it, a lot of the questions I get in a lot of art it's all mental. You know, it's like everybody has these mental blocks. It's like, just do it. Just have fun with it, you know, just do it. Stop thinking so much. Stop worrying about what it looks like in the end. Yeah, like not everything you do is going to be good. Not everything I do on these live streams is good. I don't know if this is going to look good, but I'm trying. That's all you can do, is just try. Just try it. If it doesn't turn out good, try to understand why it didn't turn out well. Try to look at it, and if you can't figure it out, have someone else look at it and ask them, you know, what's wrong with this? What can I fix with this? How could I make this better? And then apply that to your future artworks. Try to make better stuff. Don't make those same mistakes again. Yeah, so many people overthink stuff, and they sit there and think all day, like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And then the whole day's gone. You didn't do anything. You wasted all your time thinking about it rather than just doing it. Just get out your pencil or get out the paint, sit down and just do it. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. I am not sponsored by Nike, by the way. Just do it. Just do it. But that's really, you know, that's how I try to think about it. It's just people overthink way too much. They just, a lot of stuff, it's all mental. So I'm going to add some shadows on the rocks here, or try to make it look like rocks. It's very chaotic. This is a pretty chaotic painting, so just trying to simplify it. Make mine look like rocks. I'm not trying to copy rock for rock or anything like that. I'm just trying to make mine look like rocks as well. Any recommendations for good sketchbooks? Yeah, I mean, anything like Strathmore makes. Just go to Amazon, Strathmore or Canson or Stillman and Byrne. You know, there's a few good ones out there. But yeah, any of the Strathmore sketchbooks are pretty good, I think. Did he use some wax resist in this one? You know, I think he might have, maybe like on the rocks or in the highlights on the rocks, but other than that, I don't think he did. Let me look at it. It does not seem that he did. He might have used a slight bit of some kind of gouache in the water, like on the light areas. He got some lighter colors in there. There is some paintings where he did use more gouache, or they called it body color. So some kind of thicker color than watercolor. But sometimes he did use just gouache as well over the watercolor when he needed to. So he wasn't like a purist or anything. He just did what worked, you know. That's another thing. People think they have to follow some strict process, but it's not really, the process doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, when it's hanging up in a gallery in a museum or wherever people see it, like, nobody cares how you made it. Nobody cares about the process. You know, maybe other artists do, like maybe they're intrigued by your process, but it doesn't matter. You know, people just get caught up and too caught up in stuff like that. Like, oh, the process, I have to do it this way, or I have to create it this way, or, needs to be done this way, and it's like, it's not the case. Basically just start doing it. Start doing more. And I think some of the blue on the water here, I don't know if that's watercolor or not, but I'm using watercolor, so I'm going for it. Because his is a little more opaque. That might be gouache that he used, or some kind of body color, as I was saying. Or he used the paint really thickly or something. You know, I'm not 100% sure how he did it. But it does look, it's very opaque. So I can't remember the description for this painting. Usually in the books that I have, they say if it has gouache or something else in it. And I can't really, can't remember for this particular painting, unfortunately. Yeah, look at your art in a mirror. That's a good answer too. I've done that a lot in the past. If you can't figure out what's wrong with it, then try to look at it in a mirror, or take a photo with your phone. That's another way to do it. Or also take a photo with your phone and flip it, like you know, like same thing as looking in a mirror, but you know, maybe if you don't have a mirror, I don't know who wouldn't have a mirror, but even just taking a photo with your phone, you know, seeing it smaller and stuff and more condensed, you get a better view of it in a way. So I'm liking this one so far, I think. I don't know if mine is as colorful, but yeah. That's a good question about pre-mixing your colors. So if I was doing oil painting, there was a lot of times where I pre-mixed my colors. But for a small sketch like this with watercolor, like, I don't see a need to pre-mix any colors here. And if you look at my palette, I'm only using this little spot to mix all my mixtures. I'm not even using these other, I was using this one earlier, but you know, I don't even have enough room to pre-mix all my colors, and it's not really necessary, I don't think. That's the thing, it's all personal preference. If you feel like you need to pre-mix colors, or if you want to, then do it. If you don't, then don't. You know, just don't overthink. Don't overthink it. But yeah, with oil painting, I did that a lot. Sometimes I'd pre-mix some of the main colors in the painting, just to get an idea before I started, like what I want to do. Like trying to get the color harmony down a bit before I started, basically. So we're gonna have to lighten up some of this. I'm terrible at like painting rocks and rock shapes. It's like my worst thing. I really need to practice the rock shapes and stuff more. It's like a really tough thing for me to do. That's one reason why I picked this one, because it's challenging. But yeah, anyway, I think it's coming out all right though. We're getting it's pretty good. Just trying to add a little more color here that I'm seeing instead of all this blue. Okay, I did want to mention to everyone out there, if anyone's interested, on my website, let me just take a quick break here, folks. On my website, you can check out my website. I have some paintings for sale on there, and I actually today, I just added all the drawings from all my past live streams and past videos. So definitely check those out at schaeferfineart.com if you want to check those out. But I have all the drawings up there for sale if anyone's interested. And I'm going to add some of the watercolor paintings I did recently on there within the next day or two as well. So I think I need to darken some of this water slightly. We're getting pretty close here, folks, to the end of this one. I think I'm feeling pretty good. I really love the colors in this one. That's why I picked this one. It's just really cool colors. I'm trying to simplify it from what he did, because mine is way smaller. My painting is much smaller than his painting. You know, his painting is bigger than this whole block that I'm painting on. So for me to get any of the details that he's getting, it's just not possible. Methodox, thanks for $5, man. Definitely appreciate it. Or woman, man, woman, either way, person. A week ago, they say, a week ago I was searching YouTube for someone to learn from, and above all, your videos spoke to me the most, so thanks to you, man. Keep it up. Appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Glad to hear that, and I appreciate the $5. It's going to go to good cause, just creating more of these videos, more educational material, or just more of me sharing my experiences, sharing my journey. Just kind of what I've been doing lately, and I appreciate any kind of support. So thank you very much. Looks like I need to let the water dry before I can really add any more stuff here to it. But that gets the idea across, I think. That's pretty good. Looks like there's some darker marks here in the grass and stuff. Paint in some of that. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Some lines back here on these rocks. More browns back here on this rock. A little bit of darks back here. Yeah, so what do you guys think of this one? This one, I'm actually very surprised at how well this one's coming out. I didn't really get the lightness up here that I wanted, like that yellow warmth. I'm gonna lighten some of that up, possibly. Scrub some of that off, if I can. This brush is too soft. I need a scrubbing brush. See if this one will do it. This is an old crappy cheap brush that I have, so I'm trying to... I think the colors I used are pretty staining, so I can't really lighten that up how I want. But that's alright, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I think I just need a little more darkness and complexity in the water, and I think I'm pretty much there. Some splatter in the water with the colors of the painting, maybe. Yeah, I'm afraid to do splattering on this one, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's you're probably right. The problem is he used kind of gouache. I do have some white watercolor. Let's see if I can add, I'm going to try it. Let's see if I can add some lighter colors. Like he has some light yellows and stuff in here. So let's see if I can put some of that in there possibly. So I mixed up this white watercolor. It's actually not white. It has just a bit of warmth to it. It's actually not an M gram color that I normally use. It's a different brand. Some kind of Japanese brand possibly. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, it's very hard to see. Maybe I need to go lighter still. I don't even know if I can, but it kind of harmonizes with the bit of grass that's out there. So he has this just kind of touches everywhere in the water. So we'll see if that helped it or ruined it or anything. So just adding little touches of it here and there in other places around the painting, just kind of make it harmonize a little bit better. It's kind of cool. It actually works. So I'll show you guys what. Yeah, that actually makes it look a lot better. You could add a warm yellow in the foreground to lighten it. You can't do that because watercolor, if you add another glaze, even if it's yellow, it's going to darken it. That's the problem with watercolor. It's kind of an additive process, or is it additive process or subtractive process? Either way, one of those, it's going to make it worse to do that. But yeah, I thought about that already, of course. So we'll try to add some dark stuff back here again. Darken some of this. So it's much darker around closer to where the water is more shallow, and then it's lighter as the water gets deeper and deeper because it's kind of like rocks under the surface and stuff, things like that. It's just a lot going on here. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see. I don't know how much more I want to add to it. I kind of like it being a little more simple than his. But it's pretty close, actually. It's pretty close to being there, I think. Maybe just some kind of light, warm gray spots back here. Okay, I thought I was going to do it lightly. One thing I messed up on, I didn't leave any white space back here behind this rock, but it's okay. It's a little different. It looks a little different. but it's not bad. It's just different, that's all. Anyway, I hope you guys were happy with this whole process, seeing this come to life, kind of. Pretty interesting. I did not expect this one to come out this well, actually, to be completely honest. Yeah, let's see if I can get a little bit lighter in the water. Just a little bit. So I'm just going to go straight into that white, warm white that I have. Just try to do a little bit touches here and there. Because he does have like a lighter color in there as well. Some watercolorists, when they do opaque colors like this over top, they'll get the tube of paint and they'll take the tube off and do it straight from the tube. It's a really interesting process. Seeing other artists do that nowadays. You know, there's really no rules to this stuff. So rather than wetting it, you can just get the thick watercolor paint straight out of the tube. Try to lighten that area back there up a bit. Some highlight on this rock. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's I'm more than happy with that one, actually. So, more rocks? I mean, how do I create more rocks? Remove tape. So satisfying to see it. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. Person who's leaving right now. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to take the tape off of these on the bottom now, and we'll see all of them together. Let me, oh no. Let me take this photo down. There we go. And we'll take this tape off. I have no idea what time I'm going to live stream tomorrow. I don't even know if I'm going to live stream tomorrow. But every time I do them, it's usually around this time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time. Pacific Standard Time. So if you Google that, you know, wherever it is, wherever it is you are, you can compare. But yeah, there we go. There's the 4 studies all together. I think a good variety of scenes, you know. This one didn't really have any sunlight and it had some smoke. I don't know if I got that really as well as I had wanted. This one, this direct kind of sunlight, really cool. A little bit of sunlight here, mostly shadow, mostly grays, monotone, and then very colorful. So colorful and chaotic compared to these other more quiet ones. So yeah, this is, it's been really cool, man. Two-part video. If you haven't seen the first part, go check that out. It's on my channel. It's like 2 days ago. Yeah, this one may be my favorite one, actually. I think this one's my least favorite. And I like this one a lot. Actually, should we touch up that door? I'm afraid to, I kind of like the melted look of it, but I might touch it up slightly. Just to give some kind of, you know, something like that. There we go. You guys can see that. Just hit it a little bit more. Gave it a little bit of shape. but I didn't define it, the whole thing. You know, I kind of left it kind of mysterious. We still have this kind of melted look to everything, so it's cool. It's really nice. Yeah, which one is your favorite, guys? First, 1, 2, 3, or 4? Love to hear what you guys think. What's your favorite one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yeah, I think this one for the light is probably my favorite for the light, and I like this one for the color. I like this one for the mood. This one has the mood. This one has the color. This one has the light. And this one's just kind of, not the greatest, but that was a very challenging one. So, anyway, guys, it's been an hour now, so I think I'm going to get off here. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow, or the next live stream anyway, will be a pen and ink. So everybody likes the third one so far. Third one, yeah. That's really the most straightforward one, really. Second one's pretty good too for the light effect, I think. You know, this reflected light, the subtlety of the shadows, everything, it really makes it look realistic. This one, it's a little difficult to see what's going on. I needed a little more yellow, I think. I needed more warmth in the grass to kind of separate it from the water. But it's a very chaotic painting anyway. And I don't know, maybe a touch of yellow might help that. I don't know. Might as well just like try to see, like, can I add yellow to this? Just see. It darkens it, of course, but I thought it might just warm things up slightly. I don't know. Anyway, maybe that helps distinguish it from the water a bit. Just going a little crazy with it. Oh yeah, this weekend I might do a self-portrait, so. Thank you for the comment. Someone that likes the second one. Greatly appreciated. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was a little crazy there at the end on the third one, but anyway, yeah, I might do like a portrait or something this weekend possibly if I feel up to it, but anyway. Yeah, I think the yellow helped it right at the end, you know. So yep, the yellow, it needed that contrast against the water. I realized that. It just needed it. Yep, and it balances this one. You're right. So, yep, cool. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate you. And have a good evening. Have a good weekend. Hopefully I'll see you around, hopefully, soon. Peace, folks.